Next time you're in the mood to read something with space battles, future war tech, or military strategy, one of these books will do the trick. Hi, I'm Michael Leverts, and this is Fit to be Read. This is neither an exhaustive or definitive list of must-read books. I'm not a believer of must-read. Instead, these are 6 books that are heavy on military sci-fi that I really enjoy, and I think you will too. First up is Armor by John Stakeley, published in 1984. I recommend this for fans of Ender's Game, Starship Troopers, or The Forever War. There are some familiar elements or vibes of each of these that present in the novel. I recommend this book for those who click on a video like this that are looking for military sci-fi because they are expecting not just soldiers, but soldiers in action. I recommend this for readers who expect intensity in the reading experience. I recommend this when your reading mood is maybe a bit impatient and demands a book that puts its foot on the gas pedal right from the get-go. This book wasn't in my top 250 video, but I think it would land there if I extended it to 260. It's a great read, and probably my only knock was some consistency issues with who I believed the characters to be. In Armor, humans are at war with gigantic ant-like aliens. There are 2 main characters and subplots. One character is Felix, a soldier, and the other is Jack, a space pirate. Felix's storyline is the more exciting, and we follow him as he fights the ants on the planet Banshee. Their separate storylines eventually converge. The title Armor refers to Jack's badass, futuristic exoskeleton armor, as well as a second meaning relating to an alter ego of sorts or psychological armor. This is a really good military science fiction read that will also scratch an itch for horror or psychological sci-fi. In John Scalzi's 2005 novel Old Man's War, the old farts are sent into battle. Their words, not mine. Why the old farts? Because they're smart and they've got experience. It's like a reverse Ender's Game. The flaw in this plan would be their feeble 75-year-old bodies, but luckily, we've got a solution for that. We can get them different bodies, super nanotech enhanced bodies. Yeah, sure, they'll experiment and have fun with this newly granted vivacity, but when it's time to get down to business, they'll be ready. Ready for what? Well, for interstellar combat. There's not many options as far as desirable habitable planets go, so we must fight for it. I suggest reading this because it's a very well-told military science fiction story with strong philosophic undertones. I recommend the novel for a reading experience that provokes the reader to contemplate the size of the galaxy and our place and meaning in it. I recommend Old Man's War because it makes us think about such things as the value of youth versus experience and wisdom versus physical strength. I conditionally recommend this for strong characters. The condition I suggest is that some of the characters at times can be somewhat one note. More than that though, Scalzi's main characters are interesting and definitely lend some witty, funny moments that make the story a lot of fun. We see different sides to their personalities, and we do see them grow. The sequels are worth reading as well. Starship Troopers by Robert A. Heinlein, published in 1959. I haven't read this in ages, and I'm scared to read it again as Heinlein rereads haven't quite worked well for me in the past. I'm looking at you, Stranger in a Strange Land. I reread Stranger last year. There's a review of that on my channel if you're interested in that. I do love the parody music that I made for that one, so let me just share a diversion to that really briefly.
This corporation, take me to Mars, Martin, I'll share water, truth teller, speak no lie.
Back to military sci-fi. I think of Starship Troopers fondly, and I don't want to risk that status just yet with a reread. I'm still going to recommend it to you though. Pretty much every book on this military science fiction list shows evidence of Heinlein's influence. In Starship Troopers, we're fighting insectoid aliens, the arachnids, and they're quite formidable. The story is told in first-person narration by main character Johnny Rico. This is military sci-fi and there is decent combat action, but the heart and soul of the book is Johnny's time spent at boot camp. Here, Heinlein lays out society for our examination. On the docket is militarism and the military elite, citizenry and civic duty, oh, and some really cool body armor again. I recommend this for those who appreciate classic science fiction literature and haven't gotten to this one, and I recommend it for those who want to read something profound that begs you to, yes, enjoy, but also look beneath the shiny and exciting exterior and consider the implications of Heinlein's world building and questions evoked regarding the government's responsibility to its citizens and the validity of what a society expects from its citizens. I also have to talk about The Forever War by Joel Haldeman, published in 1974. The Forever War could land on a couple of lists for essential reads. Another obvious one besides military science fiction would be time dilation sci-fi. In The Forever War, William Mandela is a soldier, and because he and other soldiers are sent out into the universe via wormhole to cross vast stretches of space, time passes differently while away than it does on Earth. If he's on tour for a few months, years pass by on Earth. You go back and forth enough times, guess what? Not only is everyone you know, your family, your friends, your mailman, boom, they're all gone. A few more trips, the whole world's changed, and you're the alien that doesn't fit in. The implications on the individual, well, on William, is interesting enough, but of course, so is the implication for the conflict, the battles, technology, the wars, and the reasons for warring. Time dilation does funny things. Next is First Light, book 1 of the Red Trilogy by Lyndon Nagata, published in 2013. This is near-future military science fiction featuring cool military tech and a very cool protagonist, Lieutenant James Shelley, peacekeeper, spy, soldier, and maybe he can predict the future. The book starts with Shelley and his squadron at an African outpost when their base is assaulted by airstrike. What follows is an intriguing story that includes conspiracy and politics, the military-industrial complex flexing its muscles, interesting neurolinking and AI technology, and of course, a battle between and an examination of good and evil. I recommend the full Red Trilogy to any reader who wants to see well-written battles and military action matched with heavier layers of politics and conspiracy. Finally is Ender's Game by Orson Card, published in 1985. Ender's Game is a great space opera military science fiction read. Those who watched my 3.5-hour long top 210 science fiction books video are aware of how highly I rank this book and how much I love the character of Ender Wiggin. In Ender's Game, the Earth is at war with the insectoid alien race, the Buggers. These highly intelligent and advanced aliens are handing us our hat and adapting to anything we can throw at them. It's time to think outside the box. The heartless and calculating government institutes population control and manipulation measures and begins assigning, recruiting, monitoring, and enlisting children and sending them to battle school. It isn't every child. Only the best and the brightest are shipped out to space to train at the battle school and are tested to be future leaders and strategists. Most thrilling in the story are the adventures and trials at battle school and the zero-G laser tag-esque skirmish competitions that the children are thrown into. The heart of this story is Ender Wiggin, a child who has the weight of the world thrust upon his shoulders, a child outcast from his peers for most of his short life, and used by the adults who only see him for his potential value as the savior of the human race. They will exploit him no matter what the cost. I recommend Ender's Game for the reader that likes thrills, suspense, and excitement in their science fiction reads. I recommend it for those who enjoy the trope of a protagonist who may be the one, the perfect individual who always or almost always comes out on top because they are the best or the smartest. Finally, I recommend reading Ender's Game because understanding and feeling for the character of Ender Wiggin makes the excellent sequel, Speaker for the Dead, an even more impactful read. Thank you for watching. I'm Michael Everts, and this is Fit to be Read.